All right, today we're interviewing Patricia PacJac Carroll. Patricia, how are you?
Oh, just fine.
Well, good. Glad to be able to talk to you today. We got some interesting things to discuss, mostly about your books, and just wanted to find out, first of all, how did you get into writing in the first place?
Well, I didn't start until later in life, and I wondered why. I never thought I wanted to be a writer, but I think back to when I was in high school, all we read was books by dead people. So it wasn't even, for writing, it was journalism. And then I wrote a letter to the editor and it got printed in the paper. And I thought, well, that's kind of neat.
Yeah.
And then I found a writing conference and went to that and just slowly worked my way in. And here I am. I'm just 100 books later. I'm still having fun, still getting stories.
Wow, 100 books.
Yeah, I think about there, somewhere in there.
That's pretty good. When did you publish your first one?
2012.
So, wow, 100, close to 100 books in about 10 years. That's pretty prolific. Did you, other than writing conventions, did you take any kind of, I don't know, writing classes? Did you go to workshops?
I went to conferences, like the American Christian Fiction Writer Conferences. I went to those, and I was in a few writing groups where we critiqued each other's work. I learned a lot during that period. Because, you think you know how to write until you do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So did you initially try to find a publisher for your work? Was that kind of the goal?
Yeah, when I started writing, that was what you did.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last conference I went to, I just remember thinking, I'm standing in line with thousands, and that field, the indie field, is wide open. What am I doing? And I was off, and I just never looked back. I love it. I know God had my timing just for this, because I don't think I really would have enjoyed it as much with a publisher and editors creaming down on me.
Yeah.
So I'm free.
That's interesting.
Free to write the stories that come, and I just enjoy it.
Yeah. Well, so when you went independent, did you, I'm sure the conferences helped you learn what to do. So did you have trouble kind of, I don't know, how smooth was that transition for you?
Well, I'm just one of those that just goes. I don't have to know everything. I'll just go. And I figured it out.
Yeah.
And Amazon made it so easy. You just upload your document and boom, you're out there.
Yeah. And that's kind of maybe a blessing and a curse, because it's really, especially the last 10 to 15 years or so, it's opened things up.
Right.
So you're actually competing with more.
Yeah, you are, but people get to read your books. I remember the last time I sat down with an editor, I had 4 books finished. She goes, well, we'll just do one. And I said, well, what do the others do? They just sit in my computer?
Yeah.
And this way, they're out there, and they never die. Like in a bookstore, if they go to the bookstore, it's only there for 3 months or so.
Right.
But with the digital, they're there forever. Well, till AI takes over. I don't know.
Oh boy. Oh no, we won't get into that.
No.
I think they're a long way from that. Hopefully.
But they're out there. So if your purpose is to write books for people to enjoy and read, there you go. They're out. They're there.
Yeah.
Marketing is a whole other monster, but.
Oh boy, that's for sure. But it is nice to have the opportunity that we do as creators. So let's talk about, you've got a book in the Reclusive Man series. Let's first tell us what the Reclusive Man series in general is about.
It's a guy who's either done something or he just wants to go hide away from everybody. And of course, that doesn't work out because some woman's going to find him. Of course, in my book, he rescued her. She fell out of a wagon off a cliff and he took care of her. He didn't want to, but he was
So and you wrote book 6, and that's called Teresa's Trouble.
Right.
Okay. And so every book in the series has kind of the same premise.
Well, it starts with a man in trouble, a man hiding, and then the woman comes to try to help him. Okay. Well, I mean, it's not her purpose, but she ends up doing that. And they're all different stories by different people.
Mm-hmm. So are there any authors who have done more than one book in the series, or is it really a different author for each one?
I don't know. I only did one.
Okay.
But there might have been a few who did too. I'm not really sure.
So this is a kind of a sweet romance, right? It's pretty tame as far as content.
Oh, so yeah. Mine are always sweet and happy. Mm-hmm. The world's too hard to have depressing stories.
Well, yeah. And this
is my view. People need to be, that's why I write. I write so people can have fun and adventure, see sweet love and a happy ending.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's escapism, essentially.
Right. And hopefully they're encouraged along the way. I always add some faith, no preachy, but just that God is alive and cares about us, but
yeah.
Just to encourage people. I want to encourage people.
Absolutely. And that's a good, simple message that I think everybody can understand.
Because we need it in these days.
Indeed. Have you written or published anything other than romance?
They're mostly all sweet romance.
Okay.
There might be some that border on women's fiction.
Okay.
I have ideas for others, but so far they haven't happened. I haven't had the time.
Oh, yeah, you're probably just in a pretty good flow with what you're doing right now.
Right. Yeah. I get off one and on to another. So.
Well, you also did book 2 of the Already Home series. And of course, this one is kind of close to my heart because I had written the song that the series is based on. That was kind of a thrill for me to see in each book. There's elements of the lyrics in that. Right. So it's been fun. So you wrote book 2, which is Maeva. Yeah. And her love interest ends up being Leo, who is Ruby's brother, and Ruby is a whole different story.
Right. So that was fun.
Yeah, and these are really kind of bite-sized stories. I think the audio on them ends up being about 20, 25 minutes. So tell me about that experience and jumping into something just a little bit different.
I really enjoyed that. Was World War I. And I learned a lot. In history, it seems like we never got quite that far. But I learned a lot. I learned Ukraine was having problems way back then.
Yeah.
And, of course, it was the war to end all wars, and off our boys went, and, so many didn't come back. Yeah. And I really think, a lot of the story is, too, the women who stayed at home wondering if they would see them again. That would just have to be hard.
Yeah, and I think each of you really conveyed that well in your stories. And there was always that, the sense of that, and of course the fellowship between all the women.
Yeah, that was fun.
Did you? There's a lot of interconnectivity, and especially with yours, because you're dealing with another character's brother. So, did you work with the other authors at all on kind of fact checking?
Especially with Michelle, because she had the first book.
Right.
So I had to kind of tweak mine in between some things.
Okay.
That wasn't hard. It was fun.
Well, where can we find you and your work in general? Give us a website, social media.
They're all on Amazon.
Yeah.
You can find me under Patricia PacJac Carroll, or I think you can just pop in PacJac, all one word.
Okay.
It'll pop up.
I want to ask you about. Okay. What's your Facebook page?
It's Patricia PacJac Carroll, Patricia Carroll.
Okay. Gotcha.
I have both.
I wanted to ask you where PacJac came from.
It was my husband and my initials. When I first started writing, I put in Patricia Carroll, and gosh, there was other Patricia Carrolls.
Oh boy.
So I thought, well, I'll just stick in PacJac.
Well, there you go. It's kind of a cool. It's a cool little nickname too, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, my husband, he allowed me to write. I remember I had a job, and on July 4th, I wrote a letter, I want to quit and write. And he read it on July 4th and let me quit working and write.
That's kind of wonderful to have a supportive partner like that.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Well, Patricia, thank you so much. It's great to talk to you, and we're going to look forward to seeing more work from you. Work on that 101st book.
That's right. I'm going to write until there's no stories.
Oh, I love it. Okay. Well, thanks again, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you.